All guests on ZASLOW Show 2.0 brought to us by the official beer of the program, Johnny Cuba. That's right. European roots with that Caribbean soul, a refreshing German lager in a can. Pick up a 6-pack of Johnny Cuba. Go to johnnycuba.us. Find the nearest location to you. Make sure you always drink responsibly. And of course, don't forget Johnny Cuba's mantra, stay tranquilo. Very excited to have our next guest here. I mean, everybody, that's right. Everybody knows ValueTainment, all right? And when I tell people, when they say, hey, have you ever heard of ValueTainment? Do you watch on YouTube, Patrick Bet David? I'm like, of course I know what ValueTainment is, because a childhood friend of mine I've known my entire life is Adam Sosnick. And they're like, Sos talks money? That's your friend? I go, yes, of course. That is my childhood friend, Adam Sosnick, joining us here because there is a huge ValueTainment. The Vault Conference 2024 is coming up. Amazing guest, but most importantly, gives me an opportunity to catch up with my pal, Adam Sosnick. Hello, how are you?
Dude, Zaz and Sos back at it again since T-ball times, huh?
That's right. Oh, that's a you double play combination. Very tough. Very tough to turn a double play, you know, at that age. You have to be really quick, all right? But Adam was shortstop. I was second base. My father was the coach.
Wow,
that's right.
Yes.
Uh-huh. Yep. Good to have you on, man.
I've been living my whole life, 30 plus years. I thought we won the championship, and you reminded me, no, we lost in the championship. I've had this like unfettered, unshakable confidence because I think I won, but I this whole time I lost. Don't tell me.
No, runner-up. We got that runner-up participation trophy. We lost in the championship, but that's okay. It was a good effort. Good job, good effort. That evening, okay, for Optimist Club, North Miami Beach. That's right. So Adam and I go way back. He is a childhood friend of mine, and he's very connected in the celebrity world, the athlete world. You're helping everybody save money. First, tell me, we'll talk about the conference coming up. And first, I want you to tell me, you've been helping dudes our age, probably a little bit younger than us. You're helping this younger generation save money. Tell everybody a little bit about what you got going on with your show in particular.
Sure. So there's been sort of 3 iterations of my life since our T-ball days. You know, I was a decent athlete, went on to play some ball down here locally at Miami Country Day, basketball, football. But after college, I had no clue what I wanted to do. And I became a Miami nightlife, hospitality, club promoter, stand-up comedian, sort of man about town. And it was great with the fun and the access and the status and all that. But I was broke. And I had to move up to Boca, get my act together. And I got a job in the financial world as a cold caller for a startup financial company. And my first year, I made a whopping $5,000 in my first year. Let's go. And they said, stick it out. You know, nothing good comes easy. In your second year, you can really make some money. Boom. My second year, make 6 figures for the first time in my life. I'm 26, 27 years old. And it was a game changer. The problem with that was then it was 2008, recession, world came crashing down. And then from there, I had to just realize I got to get good at this one thing. When the market comes back, I'm going to give it my best, give it my all, have a specialty, not be a jack of all trades. I end up making a great amount of money, which led me to figuring out, hey, when I was 25, I was my brokest friend. When I was 35, I was a millionaire. Let me teach millennials what I learned. I was a 25-year-old broke Miami party boy, crashing on friends' couches. And by the time I'm 35, I'm living in a high-rise across from the Miami Heat Arena with Miami Heat players crashing at my place. So if you just stay good at something and stay focused, life can happen. And then in the process of all that, one of the guys I met at a financial conference, because we forget to network these days, we got access to social media and DMs and everything online, that you meet people in real life. And one of the guys I met in real life was this guy called Patrick Bet David, who was just starting his financial journey and just starting his media company, ValueTainment at the time.
And he's a minority owner with the Yankees.
He became a minority owner with the Yankees. So crazy his story and how our stories sort of aligned, which is crazy because I've been doing content with him as his right-hand man for almost 5 years now. But I've never interviewed Pat. And I recently just interviewed him. I was like, Pat, it's crazy we're sitting down and we've sat at the same table, booth, microphone for 5 years now. I've never asked you certain questions because it's always been topical. And we basically discovered, like, wow, how our stars aligned in the financial industry. He came from, you're born in Iran, made it in America, made it in the Army, made it in the financial world, Miami, local community, turning two with ZASLOW when we're in second grade, what have you. It's a Miami nightlife to basically both ending up in the financial services world and both saying, hey, I think we have this cool opportunity to do something with social media. His vision was so much bigger than mine. My vision was, hey, I want to make some money, be a millionaire in Miami, and I want to give back to millennials. He's like, dude, I want to build the biggest media company in the world. So stars aligned. He saw what I was doing. We joined forces, and I'll give you this. If I can be the Scottie Pippen to this guy's MJ, I'll do that all day, every day. And that's basically what I'm doing right now.
And you guys, I know the main focus, it's entrepreneurship, but I see the guests that you guys have in studio. I mean, and it's not just, you get huge names as far as the athletes go, major political names as well. Give me some of your favorites that you've sat down with.
So, we do these massive events, and, at our annual event called The Vault, we really try to bring out the heavy hitters. So this year,
how many years is this now with the Vault?
This is our 5th year of doing this actual event called The Vault. This is sort of like our entrepreneur Super Bowl. It's always in September, typically down here in South Florida. But we've been doing content or at least Pat has, for over a decade. So, this year we have The Rock as our keynote speaker, which is incredible. Nick Saban's on the lineup. Also, Will Guidara, who ran the #1 restaurant in the world out of New York City, to talk about hospitality and unreasonable hospitality. We have one of the top AI programmers who is going to be there. We have this Nick Saban, great college football coach, the greatest of all time. We have this killer lineup, but the foundation is understanding capitalism, entrepreneurship, and contributing to your community and your business. Last year, we had Tom Brady, Mike Tyson. We've had guys like Shaq. The late, great Kobe was a massive figure here. We do content all the time with Stephen A. Smith, gift the gab extraordinaire. We've done stuff with Rogan, with Dana White. We've been to UFC. We go to these events. We're mixed. But then we deal with thought leaders like Jordan Peterson. Chris Cuomo is part of our world. Vivek, DeSantis, Mayor Francis Suarez. All these amazing people come to our studio, and I'm just so lucky to be a sponge and learn and occasionally ask a question when it's my turn. But it's really exciting times.
So when someone sees, all right, so the Vault Conference 2024, and what is it, vtmerch.com, folks can pick up their tickets. It's this week in West Palm, September 4th and 7th. Yeah, so starting on Wednesday through Saturday, you want to make sure you secure your seats, vtmerch.com. You pick up your tickets for the Vault Conference 2024. When someone sees The Rock, that The Rock is speaking at this conference, then if they say to you, well, what's why The Rock? What is The Rock going to teach me about capitalism or about entrepreneurship? What do you then say to that?
So it's interesting because I asked Pat the exact same question. What is The Rock going to do? And he kind of had to sell me. Well, you don't understand this. Everything is about progression and working your way up the depth chart. At one point, The Rock, he played for in the 80s? When was
early
that?
90s. Yeah, early 90s.
Didn't make it in the NFL, got cut. Sorry, buddy. Got to WWF or WWE at that point. Didn't start off as the champion. Worked his way up, developing this personal brand. And personal brands are everything at this point. Authenticity is everything at this point. Now, if you can align that personal brand was essentially marketing with a product, and the product is good and strong, and The Rock turned to be his own product, but then he developed other products. He has the tequila brand. He has other brands. He's now part ownership of everything that's going on with WME and that massive conglomerate they're doing with the WWE and UFC. Yeah. He's on the board.
He's on the board, yeah.
But, what I try to do is I don't look at, say, how can I be The Rock? No, it's like, what steps did The Rock take? Did Brady take? Did Mike Tyson take? Because there's always a similar story with all these guys. What's that similar story? I had talent, maybe a little bit, but nobody believed in me. They doubted me. Look at MJ. at his Hall of Fame speech, he said, "You cut me for that one guy." What? They have a chip on their shoulder, and they don't stop. And it's all about leveling up, getting to the next level. And then once you reach that next level, all right, now you're the biggest guy in the WWE. Awesome. How do you go become the biggest guy in Hollywood? Well, you don't start as the biggest guy in Hollywood. You got to get to a minor role. Then you get and then you seize the opportunity. So The Rock, I don't even know if he's a billionaire yet, right? Think about that. He may be, he may be not. But in the ascendance that he's going, in the direction he's going, if he plays the sequencing game of business, he'll probably be a billionaire pretty soon. And I'm not even sure if that's the game he's playing, but that's the game that comes when you start having success and you go brick by brick by brick, decade by decade.
Well, and he's talked about this before where his production company is called $7 Production.
Exactly.
And it's called $7 Production because when he left school and he wasn't going to make it in the NFL, he says he had $7 in his wallet or in his bank account. And that's all he had to his name. And,
Exactly.
and now you look at it now, and that's why it's $7 Production. So The Rock is one of the headliners, along with Patrick Bet-David, of course. You may have Nick Saban there as well. Again, vtmerch.com. You can get your tickets this Wednesday, September 4th through the 7th in West Palm Beach. Now, for folks who are not familiar with ValueTainment, which I don't know how you can't be, major presence on YouTube. For folks who are not familiar with ValueTainment, who is ValueTainment for?
So I'm actually totally comfortable with people being like, hey, I'm not very familiar with what's going on here because we're a massive player in the digital media space, especially in the cornerstone of entrepreneurship and capitalism, and God bless America. That's our world. But maybe there's people that listen to the radio, and that's God bless. They're watching TV. They're reading the newspapers. Everyone gets their media in a different way. And that's why I always encourage people to have a mixed media diet, get a little bit of this, get a little bit of that, see what's going on out there. But, we are going all in on the digital media space. We believe that's the future, and it's already the present. Some of the biggest players in the world, look at Joe Rogan, hundreds of millions of dollars from initially YouTube, now Spotify paid him a ridiculous contract. But we started off as the number one channel. Well, we weren't number one, as a channel that talked about entrepreneurship, but we quickly grew ourselves to the number one channel on YouTube for entrepreneurship, which then, to Patrick Bet-David, PBD's credit, he said, I don't want to make this about me. I want to make this about others and build an actual brand, right? So he calls it ValueTainment, which is, different than just being a PBD or a influencer, with just one lane. And then he started recruiting talent, and I'm lucky enough to be the first talent that he's ever hired. And now we're growing. When I started, there was a handful of people in a corner office in his financial massive mega office back in Dallas. And now we're in Fort Lauderdale. We have 120 something employees at this point. It's only been 3 years, and we're growing, and we're looking for a campus somewhere here in Fort Lauderdale to fit 1,000 people. So maybe Zaz wants to do his show on VT Sports. I don't know, or be a guest. But we're here to collab. We love debate. We love dialogue. We love discourse, and we just love America.
Does it ever get nasty? Because when you say debate, you do, in addition to celebrities, athletes, you have a lot of political guests, and this is a very interesting climate we live in. Does it ever get nasty?
I'd be lying if I said it didn't get nasty. Of course, sometimes, and what we always sort of preach is be respectful, no matter what their position, until you're disrespected. Once you're disrespected, you could say, hey, look, I've been trying to play nice, and I'm trying to attack the problem, not the person, but now you've gotten personal.
Has that happened to you?
More times than you would know, Zaz. But this is a learning thing for me, because, you look at shows like, Pardon My Take or PTI, or First Take with Stephen A. Smith, who's the legend, who I just had dinner with the other night. It's built on being contentious. It's built on that. Like, if everyone's singing Kumbaya and gets along, what are we doing here? So,
but as long as there's respect,
there has to be respect. And as long as you're being respectful, I played sports my whole life, and I understand what it's like, how you act on the field or on the court. How, you might be my friend, But when I'm on the court, I'm coming for you, bro. It's, eat or be killed kind of a thing. But, that's why the greatest athletes can kind of have a switch when they get on the court. And then after the game, hey, let's shake it up. So I try to keep that in mind.
Now, SOS has his brand as well. Save that money. You're helping young people, spend their money wiser or save it better. What is the biggest mistake? You're coming out of college. The biggest mistake young kids are making these days with their money?
So I would say there's two things. Number one is you have no game plan. You are just running around trying to make money, trying to save, trying to spend, like you got nothing going on. So you don't have Bill Belichick or Pat Riley or Spo in your corner saying, hold on. You have to understand the game plan has to do with two major factors, offense and defense, aka income and expenses. Let's figure out what we're doing here. Okay, great. Let's get some X's and O's on the board. So you 5 yahoos aren't just running around the court trying to make layups and jack up threes, or you 11 guys can get behind the quarterback and let's get in the end zone. Not just, hey, go make money, save. Like, there needs to be a game plan always. And then, beyond the game plan is, what are you solving for? Are you trying to win the game? Are you trying to win the league? Are you trying to win a championship? Are you trying to go to the Hall of Fame? A lot of people, when they get their first job, they're just trying to win the game. They don't realize if they play their cards right, I can get into the Hall of Fame of money, become a millionaire if I just have this game plan. And then the other thing that I would say is, look, we're living in America. God bless. Amazing. No other place would rather be. But we also have a foundation of capitalism is you have a lot of choices. You have a lot of options. You have a lot of merch to look into. You've got spending. You go to the mall. You can do all these things. You want to look good. Cars, clothes, jewelry, everything. You have shiny object syndrome. You have consumerism. You don't realize, hey, man, I'm making 100 grand, but how did I spend 120 this year? What just happened? A lot of it has to do with keeping up with the Joneses. Life gets more expensive as you get older. So there's only two ways to make more money, Zaz. There's only two. You can make more or you can spend less. I encourage people to do both, but a lot of times they don't make more and spend more. And all of a sudden it's a recipe to like, I'm 50. How do I have no retirement account? What just happened here? Because as you know, bro, we're now in our early to mid 40s. We were just playing T-ball 30 years ago. So it's crazy.
Tell everybody how they can hear you talk about all of that you just spoke about. And of course, everything going on with ValueTainment, including the Vault Conference coming up this week.
Thank you. Thank you. So all social platforms in the history of social platforms, we might even have a MySpace. I don't know. But look up ValueTainment, value and tainment combined, ValueTainment, not Value Entertainment, although we won't be opposed if you remember us that way. But ValueTainment, our CEO, our founder, if you just put in Patrick, there's two names that are going to pop up. It's going to be Patrick Mahomes and then probably Patrick Bet-David. So not a bad 1-2 punch right there. And then when you Google Adam they're going to say, oh, Adam Sandler? No, Adam Sosnick. But great to be with you, Zaz. There's only a few people that can pull off the media personality 3-letter acronym name, Zaz and Saz.
There you go. Look at you. Look at us.
And a lot of people spell my name. They think it's SOZ because it's Sosnick, but
they think I'm ZAZ. We're in the same boat,
what
man.
What's happening here, baby? So, but on a personal note, dude, I'm so proud of you. I'm still friends with a lot of the guys from the NMB, Who We Be NMB, Optimus Hood, and everyone's doing awesome things and has families. And I always enjoy seeing Zaz. Usually at the Heat games is where I've run into you, or at least after the game. But it's awesome to see what you've done, Zaz.
You too, totally, man. Keep up the great work. I'm happy for all the success, and like I said, you guys are killing it. Just a really big deal, great presence that you guys have going on there at ValueTainment. We'll do this thing real quick here. Give me some thoughts on the Canes. The Canes took that ass this weekend. You're a huge Canes fan.
Let me tell you something, man. Love the Canes. Even though I went to Florida State, I almost walked onto the team there, and I said, "What am I doing? Now I'm going to go." But listen, I know we got like 10 seconds. Hootie and the Blowfish sang that song. Sometimes the Dolphins make me cry. Yes. Early 2000s. No disrespect, Dolphins. I still root for you, but not wholeheartedly. I've been wholeheartedly all in on two teams my whole life. the Miami Heat, which has rewarded me amazingly, and the Miami Hurricanes, my first love, because in the 80s with Vinny Testaverde and just Michael Irvin, and then, to Frank Gore to Clinton Portis, incredible. I'm just hoping for that 80s, 90s, early 2000 magic, because it's been 20 years of, come on, Canes. So I'm happy, but I'm pensively excited.
Great job, Adam. Love having you on, man. We'll do this again, all right?
That's anytime, dude. Thank you, brother.